Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. Today, I'm not sure what kind of video we're going to end up with. I don't know if it's going to be a just checking it out video, a repair video, a restoration video. I'm really not sure. I picked up this Heathkit Model 102 digital multimeter recently at a junk shop. There was no cord with it. I couldn't test it. I still haven't tested it, so I'm not quite sure what we're getting into. The reason why I wanted to buy it, it has a Nixie tube display. And if you're not sure what Nixie tubes are, well, stay tuned because we're going to learn a little bit about those too. So let's go ahead and dig into this thing and see what we got waiting for us. Now this is a normal digital multimeter from that kind of an era. It does AC and DC volts, current, resistance, that kind of thing. Nothing fancy, not super full featured, not super wide range, but it gets the job done. The interesting thing with this was that it has kind of a non-standard plug on the back of it. I could not find a replacement plug for this thing anywhere. So I think what we're going to need to do first is actually take this thing apart and see if I can, just temporarily solder another power cable on it to see if this thing even works. So we'll go ahead and grab the screwdriver here. These Heathkit meters, I'm familiar with Heathkit being a ham radio operator because they also made radio equipment and things like that. And they're always designed to be serviceable. In fact, a lot of their stuff was actually available as a kit that you could, actually build yourself. So, they tend to be pretty simple, very well laid out. We'll take a look when we get inside this one and see if this one lives up to that reputation, because they really do have a reputation for making their stuff very serviceable. And yeah, looking inside, it's very clean layout, and a few integrated circuits and chips in here, but mostly resistors and capacitors, things like that. I think we can take the bottom off of it too. Yep, it all comes apart very, very easily. And if we flip it over to the bottom, we've got our transformer, the back of the circuit board, the selectors. I mean, very, very analog. And, very, what is this? Probably 1960s or 70s technology. All right, well, let's go ahead and get the soldering iron turned up, and we'll learn a little bit about Nixie tubes. Now, you've definitely heard about LEDs. They're in everything. And some of you even know what a vacuum fluorescent display is. But Nixie tubes, well, there's something way cooler. A Nixie tube is a cold cathode gas discharge display. Now, that sounds complicated, but it's not. Now, inside the glass envelope is neon gas, and inside that neon gas are 10 separate metal digits, 0 through 9, and they're physically stacked behind each other. Now, each number, it's in its own little metal cathode, and when the circuit applies high voltage, usually around 170 volts DC, to one of those digits, the neon gas around it ionizes and glows. That orange glow, that's neon plasma wrapping around the metal number itself. It's not backlit. The number itself is the light. And one of the reasons Nixie tubes look so good is because of that depth. The numbers, they're not on the same plane. They're physically stacked. So when you look at one, you can see the faint outline of the other digits behind it. It has a three-dimensional mechanical feel. Now, modern displays are pixels. I think these are sculptures. Now, Nixie tubes showed up in the 1950s. They were heavily used in lab equipment, frequency counters, even early computers and industrial instruments. And before 7-segment LEDs became cheap and reliable, this was the premium digital display technology. And by the mid-1970s, LEDs and vacuum fluorescent displays started taking over. They were cheaper, they were lower voltage, and they were smaller. So Nixie tubes quietly disappeared. Now here's something important. The Nixie tube is not the same as a traditional vacuum tube. Classic vacuum tubes have a heated filament inside. They glow because they're hot. Nixies are cold cathode devices. There's no heated filament. The glow comes from the ionized gas and not heat. So even though they look like little tubes, electrically they behave very differently. And they do have some quirks. First, they need that high voltage, 170 volts DC, just to light a digit. And second, they can suffer from something called cathode poisoning. If a particular number like 0 is used constantly and the others aren't, the unused digits can get dim over time. And when one fails, well, you don't just order one from Amazon now. You have to go hunting for new old stock from a tube that hasn't been manufactured in decades. In this Heathkit multimeter, these Nixies were cutting edge at the time. Instead of reading a needle and estimating the value, you got an exact digital number floating in orange plasma. Analog electricity doing digital work. All right, looks like the soldering iron's hot. Let's get back inside this thing and see if we can keep it going for another 50 years. Well, the soldering iron's hot, so let's get some leads tacked on here and we'll see if these Nixie tubes actually work. Kind of the moment of truth. Now, I do want to warn everybody ahead of time, I'm not expert at doing soldering. I've lost a lot of dexterity in my hands and my fingers recently. So whatever I'm doing, it's not a lesson in how to solder by any means. We're just going to tack these on, see if it works, and then take it off. This is definitely not the safest thing to do because it leaves exposed line voltage connections at the back. So this is merely for testing. You know, don't try this at home. Now, I did pre-tin the leads on the cable. Just going to flow a little bit of fresh solder on here just to give us something juicy to stick to here. I'm also a lefty, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for me to do this for the camera because I have to do it right-handed because if I do it with my left hand, you won't be able to see. All right, so let's go ahead and get these tacked on here. All right, there's positive. And let's see. Actually, the positive needs to go on the other one. Positive to the fuses. Negative. And then our earth, ground. All right, so that should get us at least some power to the entire thing to be able to see if this is going to work or not. All right, so let's get this flipped over and we'll get set up for the moment of truth. All right, so it's the moment of truth. We're plugged in, and this is where it either blows up on my face or actually works. So let's give it a shot. Okay, well, actually, it looks like we're working. Now, the one thing I did realize that I don't have, that I thought I did, was a set of probes that'll fit this. I looked at my newer meters, and they all have the shielded connectors. These are more like banana plugs or whatever. And for whatever reason, I don't have any of those laying around. Now, I'll assume that it works, but that display just looks absolutely amazing. I'll see if I can get you guys some close-ups of what the display looks like on this. I'm a little disappointed. I thought it was a 4-digit display because one of my thoughts was maybe turning this into a Nixie tube clock, kind of an interesting design one anyway, but it's only 2 or 3 digits, so I guess I won't be doing that, but I just love the way this thing looks. So if I don't need, very fine resolution on testing things, I might actually just clean this up and use it around the studio here. So I say let's get this thing cleaned up and put back together. Now I'm going to give this just kind of a cursory clean just so we can get some nice shots of it for the video here, and just so it looks decent. There'll be a little bit more work I'll probably need to do to this. The front bezel's coming off a little bit. There's a cardboard piece that sits behind the Nixie tubes to keep them from illuminating the inside and showing through. That'll have to be reattached, but for now I just want it to be reasonably clean so I can sit it on the shelf behind us and have it for some background for some videos. The rest of the case and everything actually looks pretty good. This was at a vendor mall for I think it was $10 or something, and I'm like, I'll take a chance on that just because it has Nixie tubes. I've always wanted something with Nixie tubes, and they've become real popular over the past 5 or 10 years, and anything with Nixie tubes in it, clocks and what have you, just tend to be ridiculous when it comes to price. So I've yet to pick one up, so I was kind of excited about this when I saw it. Figured, yeah, I'll have that. So the case itself just slides back in. It's kind of an interesting design the way this is put together. It's multiple pieces, and the sides are what actually hold this thing together. So these actually end up sliding in and locking into the bezel. In the front here. There we go. That one's not sitting just right. There we go. Kind of an odd design, but you know, it works. And then this one, can't quite get that one on all the way because of my improvised power cord, but I'm going to leave that on there just for now until I can figure out a better power cord solution for it. It's such a small jack in the back, and I've searched eBay, I've searched, you know, when you go to flea markets and stuff, people have the boxes of cables. I've searched for a cable for it. I can't find it. I've looked at other Heathkit electronics, and some of them have a similar design, but it's actually much bigger and it won't fit. So, you know, this is just one of those things where I'm going to have to, you know, just kind of play it by ear and, you know, maybe come up with a different solution for it. But that looks like that's about it as far as getting this thing put back together. Let's take a closer look at some shots of this thing and how these Nixie tubes look when they're all lit up. Well, I'd say that's about all the damage we can do on this one today. I hope you guys enjoyed taking the trip around this thing and learning a little bit about Nixie tubes. I'd say keep an eye out for this one to make some comebacks in some upcoming videos once I get everything sorted out with some leads and everything with it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. You have no idea how much it really helps us out. If you've used Nixie tubes before, or even if you haven't, comment below. Let me know what you think about them. Are they cool? Is it outdated technology? Would you like to have something with them? I think they're beautiful. But that's about it for today. And just wanted to let you guys know and remind you that I do have studio access available for those who are interested in going a little bit deeper on some of this stuff and some extra videos. It's not for everybody, but if it's for you, it's worth checking out. There's links below. Until next time, happy tinkering.